Most of us have no idea when or how our lives are going to end, and most of us choose not to dwell on that. But is knowing when you're going to meet your maker any better? Living every day as if it's your last is a nice philosophy, but if you knew for certain what day you were dying, would you be any happier? Michael Smith is very well aware that he has 31 days left to live. And before I go any further, I need to make it crystal clear that most people who know Smith's story could not care less about his happiness. Quite the opposite. Because Smith is a ruthless murderer. He's been on death row in Oklahoma for more than 20 years now. And he's set to be executed by lethal injection at 10 o'clock in the morning on April 4th. The murders that he was convicted of were absolutely barbaric. The prosecutors say that he emptied 2 guns into a store clerk because he just wouldn't die. And then for good measure, he lit that victim's body on fire. But that wasn't the end of his crime spree. He then stormed into a woman's home and he shot her dead because, according to him, she just wouldn't stop screaming, pow, pow. Smith's lawyers have tried to spare his life by claiming that he has an intellectual disability. But the state said that his IQ scores are too high for that. Earlier today, he gave us an exclusive interview by phone from prison, and here is a little bit of that conversation.
The date of your execution is set for April 4th. Do you have feelings about that? Is it always on your mind? Do you try to ignore it?
No, actually, I don't think I think about it as much as people would think I would, but I think it's more about the actual fight, and instead about the actual date. It's just I'm still fighting and still praying and hoping that I can survive, so I really ain't thinking about dying.
And the fight, I guess, is about the your lawyers have been trying to show that you might have an intellectual disability, whereas the state says your IQ scores are too high. Are you able to comment on that at all?
Actually, my fight is about my innocence first and foremost, but I think my intellectual disability claim in my case is just one of the factors.
And I just want to ask you about the other part of what you said. You talked about your innocent part. The prosecutors have said that, I guess, the evidence against you was overwhelming. The crimes were a store clerk was shot, and then his body was lit on fire, and then another woman was killed because she wouldn't stop screaming. Are you saying that you didn't do those things that you've been convicted of?
Absolutely, I'm saying that. I've always said that I gave a false confession under the influence of PPP after being prematurely released from the psych ward area of the Oklahoma County Jail. That's how I was actually interrogated, and I gave these false statements. So as far as the evidence against me, it's basically only 4 pieces of evidence ever against me. It was always my confession. 2 people stated that I confessed to them that I committed the crime, and a woman that identified me, that ID'd me at the store shortly before the store clerk was killed. But my confession, my initiation to the crimes, it consisted with the actual fact of the crimes. My argument in the trial was always that I confessed to something that I was told, not to something I did. I basically confessed to a rumor, and while I was intoxicated off PPP.
If that's true and the person's out there, what do you think is the appropriate punishment if they find that person for these crimes?
That's between him and God. I'm not the judge or the jury. I couldn't imagine putting this or any kind of punishment on another man, especially not this. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I know death's in it. This is cruel and unusual.
Do you have interaction with the other death row inmates at all? Are you allowed to talk to them and communicate?
Yeah, we have. We talk a lot.
And
We always been.
Do you guys talk about, impending possibility of being executed ever?
Mostly we really just help one another with issues, and trying to figure out a way out. So we don't really talk about dying. We just talk about fighting. That's all we really discuss. It's